For Spiritual Living Visalia in California. It's beautiful, overcast here today, nice and cool. We're going to start with our meditation, and we'll have 15 minutes of meditation and wonderful piano music. And if you like, you can take this into your consideration as you meditate. I now release all that no longer serves me, and I choose to embrace joy. And we'll be back at 10:15. Good morning again. To the center, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Visalia. Thank you for that beautiful meditation music, Kevin. And now it's time for our meet and greet. We'll have people coming in, getting coffee, talking, enjoying themselves. I hope you'll do the same at home, and we'll be back at 10:30 to start our service.
Neurologists are stunned. They've confirmed that ear ringing is shrinking your brain cells. Tinnitus is now known as precursor dementia, according to the Mayo Clinic, where doctors have made a shocking discovery that changes everything we know about ear buzzing and how it relates to mental decline. So if you or a loved one are plagued with the invisible agony of ear ringing, buzzing, or chirping sounds, then you must see this. After 2,400 brain scans and 4 decades of clinical research, an award-winning ENT scientist has just
Good morning again, everybody. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Visalia. I'm Donna Orozco, one of our board members. And we have everybody calm today, nobody jumping around and yelling, so we're ready for our song, I think. We have Donna W. doing our song today. I'm going to join her on the chorus. Everybody knows this song, so everybody's invited to join along. So we will start with the band.
Hey, mister, where you going in such a hurry? Don't you think it's time you realize there's a whole lot more to life than work and worry? The sweetest things in life are free and they're right before your eyes. You gotta stop and smell the roses. You gotta count your many blessings every day. You're gonna find your way to heaven. It's a rough and rocky road. If you're gonna find yourself the roses along the way. Work this morning in the city. Did you spend some time with your family? Did you kiss your wife and tell her that she's pretty? Did you take your children to your breast and love them tenderly? You gotta stop and smell those roses. You gotta count your many blessings every day. Gonna find your way to heaven is a rough and rocky road if you don't stop and smell the roses every day. Did you ever take a walk through the forest? Stop a while and dream among the trees. You can look right through the leaves right straight to heaven. You can almost hear the voice of God in each and every breeze. You got to stop and smell the roses. You got to count your many blessings every day. You're gonna find your way to heaven is a rough and rocky road if you don't stop and smell the roses every day. You got to stop and smell the roses. You gotta count your many blessings every day. Gonna find your way to heaven is a rough and rocky road if you're gonna stop and smell the roses along the way. You don't stop and smell the roses along the way.
All right, I guess I was wrong. People don't know that song. It's funny, sometimes I don't know songs. Everybody else is singing along, but that one I happen to know. Well, welcome again to Center for Spiritual Living, Visalia, California. So happy you're here today. I don't see anybody new. In fact, we have, I think, a vacation group today. Everybody's taken off, but we're so glad that some of you are here. And so I think we'll start with the announcements. So last week we talked about that the Source LGBT Center is needing donations of hygiene products. We got a little start today. A few of us brought in some goodies in this little basket. So put it in your mind, if you've got things you can bring, they'll take checks too, money or cash, if you want to do it that way. There's the little basket. And so bring things. The Source, I'm sure you're familiar with the Source. I mean, it's sort of birthed here years ago. And they have people that are homeless. They have people who've been kicked out of their homes because of their gender differences. And so we want to help them as much as we can. So for the rest of I think the rest of the month we'll be bringing in supplies, so bring them in. And then we are celebrating Juneteenth. on the 19th, which is a week from Monday. So we're going to have gospel music, we're going to have drumming, both Buddy drumming, African drumming, and Tino, who's doing Native American drumming. We're going to talk about what Juneteenth is all about. Buddy is going to talk about his grandmother, who was born a slave and made a quilt, and I hope he's going to bring that quilt. We're going to sing the Black National Anthem, which I've just learned about. So there's all kinds of wonderful things we're going to be doing. I hope we have all kinds of people here. It's a week from Monday from 6 to 8, and we'll have great food afterwards. And the other thing we're finally going to start is Let's Talk Science of Mind on 2 weeks from today on June 24th. So what's going to happen? 25th. Yes, thank you. Because I put 24th, I looked at, that's not right. I changed it to 25th. So 2 weeks from today, from 9:45 to 10:15 in our conference room. And we talked about it as being sort of like a little Sunday school. Reverend Ann's going to bring up topics of science of mind, and we'll just have a discussion. This came out of one of our meetings saying, yes, we want to have a chance to talk more about it and communicate more about it. So we won't have meditation anymore starting in 2 weeks. Instead, we'll have 9:45 to 10:15 in the conference room, and then we'll still have our meet and greet, and we'll start our service as always on at 10:30. So I hope a lot of you will get out of your jammies and do that. And I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Nan.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks, Donna, for that update on the source that needs the toiletries and everything for the folks there. You know, I want to bring in just one little idea here. You know, as we travel, and some of us do and some of us don't, there's all those little hotel things that are out there that could be used for this kind of a contribution also. So if you've got some of those from your last trip, you can bring those and put them in, because those little things could be very useful for everybody. The other part of it is, Donna covered everything about that Let's Talk Science of Mind. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that on the 25th, there won't be any meditation music anymore. We will just simply start our service at 10:30. We'll be sending out a message about everything, so you don't have to worry about that. You know, and I want to talk about the importance of Juneteenth for just a minute as we go into our inclusivity section. Now, Juneteenth is really important to all the Black community, and it has been for decades. And it's really a wonderful experience that's going to happen at our center. So I really want to encourage you to come out and experience the history and culture of other groups. You know, we have wonderful learning opportunities when we have conversation with others. And as Dr. Holmes said, be open at the top and always curious about life and the way it expresses in infinite ways. You know, as we embrace self-care this month, part of that is balancing grief and joy. And I'm going to be sharing my message about that after a bit. So our inclusivity quote selected by Bonnie Carlia speaks to that. And it's a great reminder for all of us that grief and joy affect everyone, not just a chosen few or a certain race or a certain age, but all of us. Our special inclusivity quote for today is from Ralph Waldo Emerson, who wrote, "For each thorn, there's a rosebud. For each twilight, a dawn. For each trial, the strength to continue. For each shadow, the sun. For each parting, sweet memories when sorrow is done." It's a beautiful piece by Emerson. You know, Dr. Holmes loved Emerson's writings. He said he could drink it like water. I'm not sure I'm that far along, but it's some beautiful work. So now it's time for our weekly affirmation. Our wonderful practitioner, Janice, is on holiday this weekend, so I'm going to be handling it today. If you would like to join me, you're going to see that affirmation up on the screen at home and in the sanctuary. And we can repeat together, "I now release all that no longer serves me, and I choose to embrace joy. It's a big thought. I now release all that no longer serves me, and I choose to embrace joy. And so now I'd just like to start our time together here before we have some music with an opening treatment. And so we call our affirmative prayer. Excuse me, I do have a little bit of allergy stuff going on here. You know, we always said that in the valley, it was the home of poor air quality and allergies. I can assure you that here in Florida, with everything blowing up from the Caribbean and parts south and east and west, we get some very interesting stuff here, and I'm having a hard time with it this weekend. So I do ask your indulgence as I continue to cough a little bit. So let us come together now for our affirmative prayer, what we call spiritual mind treatment. And in this moment together, I just invite each of you to take a soft focus on anything around you. Close your eyes if that's comfortable to you. Do whatever feels the very best to you personally. And as you do so, as we do so, as we come together in the oneness, the unity, and the harmony of that infinite divine presence, I recognize that there is only one power, one presence, and that it is everywhere all the time. It is that from which I've been formed, that from which all creation has been made manifest. And I know that I am one with it always, just as each and every creation, past, present, and future, is also. So in this unity and in this harmony, I bless this service. I bless this service as we speak of balance, of grief, of joy, and of learning how to be the wholeness that is within each of us, that is our original pattern. So I bless this time together. I bless each person here and beyond the sound of my voice. And I know that this is time that is a divine appointment, a sacred appointment in the mind of the one. And so I bless each and every being. And we continue on with great love. And I release this word with great joy into the love mind that always says, yes, my beloveds, yes. And now it's time for some special music. Now you all can sing along to this one, and I think it's pretty easy to do so. And it's a reminder of what the truth of life really is for each of us. So take it away, band. And a big thanks again to Donna for filling in this week.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals. is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
That was so beautiful. Thanks to both of our Donnas there singing this morning in our fabulous band, Joe and Kevin and Phil. It's wonderful to hear you all together. So good morning again and welcome to our Sunday service. In case you're just joining, I am Reverend Nan, and it's wonderful to have you with us, whether you're in the sanctuary or you're part of our virtual community. Wherever you may be geographically and on your spiritual path, you are always welcome here. You know, our theme this month is embracing self-care, and that covers a wide range of topics. And this week, we'll be looking at balancing grief and joy, which is the title of my talk. You know, it's an interesting consideration because we will always experience both grief and joy in our lives. Our joy can come from a broad spectrum of moments and experiences that range from the silly to the sublime. Joy is never static. It's like the butterfly of emotions that flits from moment to moment, experiencing and bringing great love. It's an experience that we may choose to have in any scenario. Grief, however, seems to be the great emotional thief of love and joy. The paradox is that grief is so closely woven to love that it's love's power that potentiates the pain of loss. Grief shows up in so many places in our lives, and it's not just the loss of special people in our lives either, whatever the relationship may be. It can be the loss of our beloved critter companions. It can be the loss of a job, or it can be the loss of a way of life. So many of us experienced staggering grief during COVID, when we were isolated from each other, family members, and all our customary ways of daily living. Sheltering in grace for months crippled our communication and all routine activities. And along with the pandemic came a secondary affliction, an epidemic of loneliness. And that epidemic continues even today. And I'm going to return to that in just a bit. Yet, as you may recall, even in the darkest times of the pandemic, we found joy in small and large things. So many people were unable to be with loved ones who were hospitalized, yet there were healthcare workers who found ways to keep them connected by holding signs up in the hospital windows and reassuring the loved ones in the parking lot. We may remember everybody standing in their windows in New York City and celebrating all the healthcare workers and emergency response folks by banging pots and pans out their windows in appreciation. You know, in the most devastating weather events, our hearts are gladdened by seeing people taking care of each other. We see folks coming together to save pets, the elderly, the differently abled, and it doesn't matter what race, religion, ethnicity, or language anyone may be. Grief has a way of breaking down barriers in communities and pulling everyone together for moments of intense compassion and love that is accompanied by joy. Perhaps quiet joy, but still joy. There may be a grieving for what has been lost, yet there is also a thanksgiving for what remains. There's a Sufi saying, when the heart grieves for what is lost, the spirit rejoices over what it has left. Now, these two terms, grief and joy, seem to be polar opposites of each other. Joy can be a most pleasant, uplifting, and energizing feeling, while grief can be a decidedly uncomfortable, oppressive, and stagnant emotional oasis. Coexisting with these two extremes feels almost impossible from an emotional perspective. And when we're propelled into grief, it may seem anything but joyful. And in trying times when grief abounds, it can be very difficult to feel there's hope or light in our world. There might be sparks of joy, even though they don't last long, and even though it may seem nearly impossible to experience them. Yet, that can happen when we open our hearts to listen, to be with it, to care for it, and to love it too. May not be easy to consider or choose. And part of good self-care is recognizing when we are so lost in grief that we can really reach out to get some help from others with that. However, finding joy is not impossible because we originate from a source that is joy. And when we remember who we really are as spiritual beings, it becomes possible. Even Aeschylus, the father of Greek tragedy, who lived around 500 BC, wrote this: "The memory of joy in grief is greater than every kind of pain." So you see, folks have been recognizing, contemplating, and even writing about grief and joy for eons. Our source of joy is within us, so it's always there, ready to be expressed through us. And while grief is the other side of joy that we experience in this human journey, the most important activity for us to do while grieving is to be with it. Don't try to push it away, ignore it, or pretend it's not there. I did that for years, and I can tell you it doesn't work very well. Sooner or later, it piles up, and then it comes out in the most inappropriate or unexpected ways. In our society, though, we have a tendency to avoid things by busying ourselves with everything but the emotion we're trying to ignore. And we can get so importantly busy. Oh, I know I was. We don't lean into discovering what our emotion is trying to share so that we might grow through and beyond the experiences of our grief or even our joy. I believe that when we fully experience our grief and we don't busy ourselves away from it, we can honor it for what it is, the apparent loss of love. It's a perception of loss of love. And there's a beautiful thought from A. Helwa's book, Secrets of Divine Love, that I'd like to share. She writes this: "Grief has a very holy purpose. Through our feelings of loss, we actualize true gratitude. When we begin to see the depth of our grief as reflecting the depth of love that we felt, the holes that a loved one's spirit once filled go from triggers of sadness and regret to altars of gratitude." And the children's book character, Winnie the Pooh, beautifully illustrates this when he says, "How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard." As beings created in and through the love of the divine, it is our true nature to be in and of love, to radiate it and to dwell in it. So it's no wonder that we feel the loss so deeply when it appears we have lost love. And that really can apply to our careers or our work. When we engage in right livelihood, it is something we love to do. It can be our passion. And when that's no longer ours to do, whether through business changes, illness, or retirement, or other situations, that grief is still demonstrating from a perceived loss of love. When we experience joy, it's the fountain of love rising up and overflowing within us, and it's infectious. Now we can just watch little kids giggling and feel that same joy filling us. And if we happen to be watching puppies, kittens, and little kids, well, it's pretty hard not to smile and feel joyful love for their innocence and that genuine playfulness that is so prevalent as the innocent love that is in all young things. We forget how to be that way when we put on these adult persona suits that we inherit through family, cultural, and societal mores. Inside these suits, we can feel pretty insulated and isolated, and we can feel pretty lonely. In fact, with or without grief, in a recent advisory from the U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, he reports there is an epidemic of loneliness in the United States. He says, in the last few decades, we've lived through a dramatic pace of change. We move more, we change jobs more often, we're living with technology that has profoundly changed how we interact with each other, and how we talk to each other. And he added, you can feel lonely even if you have a lot of people around you, because loneliness is about the quality of your connections. Now, he offered some steps that could be taken to help with loneliness. And these are larger steps from a more, should we say, a cultural or business viewpoint, government viewpoint, perhaps in some instances. He said that we could strengthen social infrastructure, which includes things like parks, libraries, and public programs. Enacting pro-connection public policies at every transportation or medical needs that stem from loneliness, our relationship with technology, and last but most importantly, I think, we could cultivate a culture of connection. Now, essentially, that's what our philosophy of science of mind does. We understand that we are all connected, that we are one, we are part of the one. And through our spiritual principles, we first remember and cultivate our personal relationship with our source. Whatever we want to call it, God, universe, spirit, Allah, Buddha, or as Dr. Holmes called it, the thing itself, it all begins with remembering who we are, where we originated, what we're made of, and how our spiritual practices can support us in strengthening and deepening our connection with that divine spark that always exists within us. When we come together for our Sunday services, our events, our activities, our classes, whether they're in the sanctuary or through virtual community options, we're creating, building, and strengthening our connections with like-minded folks. You know, that's one of the beauties of this Let's Talk Science of Mind thing. We can connect both virtually and in the sanctuary for that chat. With the Juneteenth celebration, we're going to be doing it live stream for folks who can't get to the sanctuary on a Monday evening. So they'll be able, everyone everywhere will be able to see this. We're connecting, making community connections with like-minded folks. You know, we recognize that we are one when we know and remember who we are. We treat each other inclusively and with respect and with open hearts and minds. And we learn to listen to each other, really listen, and hear our differences and similarities. We know that, as Dr. Holmes stated, right thinking brings new conditions. And that does not mean we can only think one right way. Nope, nope, nope. It's a both and opportunity. You know, last month we talked about both and. As we stand firmly grounded in the philosophy of our spiritual principles of oneness, love, creation, the threefold nature of the infinite, the creative process, spiritual laws, spiritual being, freedom, heaven, and eternal life, those were our spiritual principles, by the way, we also remain open at the top. We entertain new thoughts and ideas. We understand that as we expand our consciousness, we are having a beneficial effect throughout the world and the universe as that energy ripples out from us individually and collectively. Now, Cicero, the Roman statesman, said, and that was back then too, you know, friendship, although it was before my time, I just want to make that clear. Friendship improves happiness and abates misery by doubling our joys and dividing our grief. As we share our losses, we stand by each other through joy and grief, and we balance both as we live our greatest science of mind principle of love as a way of life. You know, that's what we call religious science, science of mind, a faith, a philosophy, and a way of life. As we learn to rely on spirit to guide and direct us through our intuition of love, we can balance grief and joy. We can honor both, and with comfort and celebration. Love has the infinite capacity to be the healing balm for every situation and emotion. And we just sang There's Only Love together because I wanted to remind all of us that it is where we can turn into whatever is happening in our life. Love is and always will be the right answer to every question, situation, or emotional experience in our lives, because, as I always say, love prevails, and so it is. And now, let's just have a short prayer before we have some more music. So I just want to bless everyone with love. I want to bring to the forefront of this prayer all the hurt anywhere, the grief, the loss, the pain, the suffering, and lift it high into that love of the one, that one infinite, divine, universal loving presence. I know it is everywhere, and I know that it is fully supporting hearts that are broken, homes that are hurting, all those who feel hopeless at this moment, all those who feel loneliness. For I know that as each heart opens to love, that infinite power within is right there, fully supporting through all the grief, the loss, and that joy is within every being everywhere. And I celebrate, I honor the loss, I celebrate each loss, each joy equally and with express respect for the purpose and the energy and the validity and the learning that comes from each of those. So I know that as I speak this word, hearts are lifted. I know that light shines in places where there was darkness. I know that together, as we recognize balance, joy, and grief in our lives and help others, that we are, in fact, creating a world that works for all. And I know that this time together has radiated out across the universe in a ripple effect that is felt by all creation. And so with great joy in my heart and love, because I know love always prevails, I simply release this word right into the law of mind that always says, yes, 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 my beloveds, yes. And I know it's already done. And if any of these words have resonated with you, we may affirm it together by saying, and so it is. And now I'm going to take my froggy little throat, and you can listen to some folks who don't have that, and they're going to sing a beautiful song for you. So I'll be back in a bit.
You can play the game, you can act out the part, though you know it wasn't written for you. But tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing could lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Father, mother, sister, brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. Tell me, what do you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone? Once you tell somebody the way you feel, you can start feeling again to ease. I think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel, always getting the grease. Better to shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. What I say, and shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will.
Well, that was just beautiful. Thank you, Kevin and Joe and Phil. I'm so grateful for all of you. And now it's time for our conscious giving affirmation. So if you would like to take your gift, for those of you who are at home, we're going to have our conscious giving affirmation on the screen. For those of you who are at home or wherever you may be in our virtual community, you can take your gift and you can send it to us at Center for Spiritual Living Visalia, 117 South Locust Street, Visalia, California, 93291. Or you can go to our website, www.cslvisalia.org, and you can make your donation right on there. And if you are so moved, you can actually join our stewardship program and make regular donations to support the center. So now, taking your gift in your hand, let's take a look at that conscious giving affirmation, and we're going to say it together. My grateful heart allows me to receive and give in all my life experiences. Let's do it one more time. And ushers, you can begin there if you haven't already. I see we've already got things happening. This is great. So, my grateful heart allows me to receive and give in all my life experiences. You know, the stewardship program provides regular income for us, regular revenue. It's not really income because it's revenue and expense. And it's a wonderful practice to do, to be giving consciously regularly. So I encourage it. It's part of our spiritual practices. And it's a dynamic flow of the energy of abundance that is everywhere throughout the universe, because there is a total abundance from source that is flowing through our lives all the time. We may not notice it, but it's always there. So I see that our host has now received the gifts, and so I would just like to bless them. I know that from the love of pure spirit, these gifts are given with such great joy in the hearts of the givers. I know that it returns. Everything returns to the giver 100-fold and more. I bless these gifts because I know they do good work in our center, good work in our community, and good work in the world. And so it is. And now for all of you hearty individuals who came on this Sunday, who are there in the center, if you want to get down there and make your circle so we can do our peace song. And once you get down there, you're going to see the words on the screen. I see little Gigi down there.
each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every breath I take, this is my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me.
All right, everybody, that was fantastic. So this is the time when we do our weekly benediction, our affirmation about life. So if you're ready, repeat with me, after me, whatever. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It's this thing called life. Now, life is in my mind, and life is in my body. I think it. I feel it. Oh, do I feel it? And I love it. Yes, I do. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. And together we can say, thank you, life. Have a wonderfully blessed weekend, everybody. I'll see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat time. Be there. Have a great